Senator Bernie Sanders is the chair of the Senate Budget Committee. They are in the midst of working on a $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation package. Senator, thank you for joining us here on KSFY. Of all the issues that this plan touches on, lower drug prices, improvements for health care, tuition aid, more broadband for more rural areas of the country. In your mind, is there one topic out of all of those that rises to the top?
Well, I wouldn't say there's one topic. I would say that the time is long overdue that the United States Congress addressed the pressing needs of working families rather than the wealthy and the powerful. And what we are doing is saying, you know what, the rich are getting richer, and many of them don't pay their fair share of taxes. Let's have them pay their fair share so that we can invest in the needs of working families. That's our children, our elderly. That is affordable housing. That is making community colleges tuition free. And by the way, Brian, that is addressing the existential threat of climate change, transforming our energy system. And when we do all of that, when we invest in the American people, we create millions of good paying jobs. In my view, this is the most consequential piece of legislation for working families since FDR in the 1930s.
One of the things that you've talked about, in specific to the current price tag, $3.5 trillion, you've said that people shouldn't necessarily worry about that on the surface because much of this plan will offset itself. Are you saying that if this budget goes forward, that this is a plan that essentially pays as it goes, it pays for itself?
Well, it is a work in progress, and we got 5 different committees working on it. But this is what I do absolutely believe, that at a time when billionaires in a given year pay nothing in federal income taxes, large profitable corporations like Amazon and many others make billions, pay nothing in federal income tax. When you have a situation where the pharmaceutical industry charges us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs and Medicare does not negotiate prices with them, if you're asking me, do I think we can fund this proposal in a way that does not raise taxes by 1 nickel for people making $400,000 or less? I absolutely do. We're going to ask the wealthy and large corporations to finally start paying their fair share of taxes so that we can meet the unmet needs of working families and address the existential threat of climate change.
One of the things that opponents of this will say, though, Senator, and they already have, is that to what extent can the government make mandates like the ones you're talking about and still respect the tenets of capitalism?
Look, the ideas that we are talking about exist in many other countries around the world. To talk about transforming our energy system, Brian, is to talk about saving the planet for our children and grandchildren. This is an issue we don't have a choice on. We're going to have to sit down and work with China, work with Russia, work with countries all over the world. You have to do that. You know, the West Coast today is on fire. Drought throughout Europe, Australia on fire. It's going to get worse. You don't have a choice. We got to do it. And anyone who thinks we do not have to do it is being incredibly cruel and irresponsible for future generations. And in terms of the other needs in this bill, you know what? I want a working person, mom and dad, to be able to afford childcare, good quality childcare, not have to pay 15, 18% of their income. I want the young people in this country to be able to get a higher education without amassing huge amounts of student debt. For years and years and years, the Congress has paid attention to the 1% and their wealthy campaign contributors. Now it's time to pay attention to the needs of working families and our climate.
Senator, to what extent, if any, does your involvement in this bill hinder its potential progress? You know as well as I do that you're a lightning rod for Republicans, but you will need them to some extent in order to push this through.
No, sadly enough, that's not the case, Brian. I wish I could tell you differently. We will not have, unless I'm very mistaken, one Republican vote for this bill, because my Republican colleagues have been much more interested in giving massive tax breaks to the wealthy and large corporations, much more interested in ending the Affordable Care Act and throwing some 30 million people off the health care that they already have. So we're going to have to go forward. It doesn't give me any pleasure to say this, but just as we did with the American Rescue Plan, which managed to get the $300 checks to the parents, parents in this country, we're going to have to do it alone. That's 50 votes in the Democratic caucus plus the Vice President of the United States.
The current price tag for this, Senator, is about $3.5 trillion. Once we reach the end of the trail here, do you think that the price tag will still be $3.5 trillion, or will this have to come down?
I expect it'll be around $3.5 trillion, yes.
All right. Senator Bernie Sanders is the chair of the Senate Budget Committee. Senator, we do appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Take care.